Coming up in the next countdown LBL. Coming up next video. Title, nextVideo.description. Skip to this video now. Transcript for Trump condemns terror attack in Egypt, calling it horrible and cowardly. We want to turn out of politics. President Trump condemning the quote horrible and cowardly terror attack in Egypt. The president spending his holiday weekend in West Palm Beach, which is where we find out on a sack lot of Good Morning Ton. I want to ask you. Trump called the president of Egypt Abdel al-Sisi after the massacre. Can you tell us what was discussed? Good morning Holland, and going to be with you as well. You know, the president offered his condolences following that horrific attack. Any promise of the United States would stand together with Egypt in the face of terrorism. Meanwhile, the president it now appears to be in Twitter war with Time magazine. What's going on there? A lot of the presidents that he was basically offered Time's Person of the Year, saying that he would have to consent to a photo shoot in an interview. That they'll probably going to get it to the president, weeded out ice, and probably is no good until the past. Thanks anyway. Time magazine is firing back that's not how it happens. They wrote the president is incorrect about how we choose Person of the Year. Time magazine does not comment on our selection until publication, which isn't until December 6th. Y'all remember Dan and Paula? That a little bit ago the president sort of got called out for having a fake Time magazine cover hanging up on display in many of his club, including right here Mar-a-Lago. But after that, with pointed out to be a fake, disappeared. I can tell you there's no sign of it here anymore. You can only imagine how. One last question before really go on. Does the president seem distracted by the reporting that his former national security advisor Mike Flynn might be cooperating with prosecutors from the Russian investigation? Well, the White House insists that they are not concerned about the tape, the change in Flynn legal strategy separating himself from the president, and all of it's underscore that the president has a link yesterday with pro golfer Dustin Johnson and Tiger Woods. Film seeming to indicate that they feel like they are still in their right and not at all concerned about the Mueller special counsel investigation. Stand Paula. Lot of Zach reporting in from Florida this morning. Lot of thank you. Let's bring in ABC News political analyst Chris Insult this Anderson, who's in Washington. Kristen, let's talk about this news about Michael Fleming. Came out day or so ago that his legal team is no longer in communication with the Trump legal team over the Russia investigation. A lot of people reading this as a sign that he may be cooperating with Bob Mueller. How worried should the president be about this? Your view. Rule whether you're the president. Earlier Mike Flynn. I think the worry for both of these men is about their sons or son-in-laws. You have on the one hand you have Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr., who was involved in that meeting between folks affiliated with the Russian government in the Trump campaign that happened last summer, but might claim own son is also sort of implicated in being caught up in some of this because of his ties to Russia, his involvement with the campaign. Suing both cases, it may be that Mike Flynn is trying to work more with Bob Mueller warrant investigation as a way to protect his own son. That downside of this for Trump could be, is this leading to information that could implicate someone like Kushner or Donald Trump Jr. in a bigger piece of this investigation, as is the case with the Russian investigation to be continued down. Congress returning from the Thanksgiving break with a lot on a plate. Not found turkey dinner, but a lot of nasty food. Dead fast. They have to pass the tax bill yet to avoid a government shutdown. They're on the clock. Kristen, will they be able to put aside their differences and get this done when it comes to the government shutdown? Thought my expectation and my hope is that at a minimum Congress will be able to kick the can down the road on that. I think by December 8th they have to come up with at least some kind of a short-term fix to government funding. The threat here is that Democrats in Congress have signaled they may want to hold this up in exchange for getting Republicans to push something about the Dreamers. Making sure that those folks who were brought here as children have some kind of status that would prevent them from being deported. So the question is, to Republicans give on that, or did they come up with something that just focuses on solving the budget issue? On taxes, there's still a lot of things to be hammered out between House and Senate. Bill did include provisions that would repeal pieces of Obamacare. That stuff is still being discussed. I think they may have a little bit of a longer way to go. On the tax bill, you expect a flurry of activity before a big holiday. Kristen, thank you from Washington this morning. This transcript has been automatically generated and may not be 100% accurate.